Welcome to Moments with Marianne. This is your host, Marianne Pastana. And we're here today with special guest, Sensei Sarhn, who's here to share with us her new novel, Us, a coming-of-age novel, an empowering book of self-acceptance and resilience. So what if the greatest power you'll ever discover isn't magic or super strength, but the belief in yourself? Sensei Sarhn is here to share with us her award-winning young adult novel, Us, which blends martial arts, meditation, and storytelling to empower teens to rise above self-doubt, embrace their individuality, and unlock the resilience already within them. Renowned and highly trusted in the 1990s and 2000s for her striking and distinctive flair as a professional photographer, Sensei Sarhn photographed 4 Australian prime ministers, immortalized numerous celebrities, and vividly captured a plethora of sporting legends through her lens. After retiring her camera, Sensei Sarhn followed her passion for martial arts into founding a karate dojo, channeling her desire into making a profound and positive impact on the lives of her students, imparting invaluable life skills such as strength of character, compassion, respect, self-awareness, focus, courage, determination, discipline, and confidence. Her commitment to empowering the next generation is now vividly captured in her debut novel, Us, where she continues her mission to inspire healthy self-image and resilience in young adults and teenagers. So welcome to the show, Sensei Sarhn.
Thank you, Marianne. It's a real delight to be here with you today.
My goodness, what an honor it is to have you here and to talk about your new book. What inspired you to write this?
It is a little out there, the answer to that. Let me explain. I had been training extensively for a year for a karate goal, 20 full contact fights with little safety padding, with a fresh black belt fighter each time. This goal wasn't about me. It was about showing my daughter, my students, that it was possible despite my age, because I was in my mid-40s with this goal when I actually did the goal. So despite my age, despite my gender, that it was possible. So if it was possible for me, it was possible for them, that great things were possible. Now, the little out there part, Marianne, was the day after I had achieved my goal. I was sitting on my couch and I was black and blue. I had crouches beside me. I could barely walk, feeling incredibly proud of myself that I lasted 20 full contact fights. And I closed my eyes, and just like every other day, I started my meditation practice. And while I was meditating, I had a very clear voice come to me, and it said, "Write a book." And here I was in so much pain after achieving what wasn't for me, was for others. So my response was very quick. It was firm, negative and vulgar. I just went, haven't I done enough? So I was saying no for weeks, days, weeks and months. Every time I meditated, that voice came to me, write a book. After months of saying no, I thought, this is not going away. This must be something I am meant to do. So I surrendered. The interesting thing about it was, what's interesting to me now is that it wasn't obvious to me then, but it was very obvious as soon as I surrendered, that I guess it became clear to me that the book would be an extension of my mission in the dojo. Yes, teaching martial arts, yes, teaching my style of karate, but it was just a tool. It was a tool to empower my students with those empowering life lessons like confidence and self-awareness and compassion and discipline and focus. All those amazing life lessons, I wanted to, make a positive difference in the life of my students. And what became clear to me is the book would be an extension of that mission, but to a much wider audience, perhaps even a global audience, than what I could ever do within my dojo.
That is just so empowering, Sensei. Especially, I love how you just finished this really rough competition, and now you're just not even getting to the place where you can meditate, and you're hearing this voice telling you this. Write a book. I would think that just that the fact that you're doing that is further inspiring your family and your students at what more can be done.
That is my life mission, is to share with people, because I believe, Marianne, that majority of people believe that greatness is something you are born with, natural talent, but the reality is that we are actually all capable of amazing things. It's what we know, and being open to learning and finding those people that can help you reach those goals. So I didn't want, I guess I wanted to break the perception that you had to be a superhero, to do extraordinary things, and it's just not true.
And so, why was the focus for this purpose to really be for empowering teens and young adults?
I think it's always been with me. Everything, even before I opened up the dojo, I have been working with young adults and teens through a number of different avenues and organisations. I think this book came at this particular time because I now have a preteen daughter, and I really felt that her generation were not hearing or having the opportunity to learn those empowering life lessons as previous generations. I feel that as time has gone on, those empowering lessons are hidden, not being taught or not being heard as much as the generations have progressed. And I worry for my daughter. I worry for her generation. And I thought, if this novel, if I could write an empowering novel that was gripping and engaging and had characters that could be identifiable to this generation, and then subtly weave into the narrative these life lessons, I thought that would be a great way for them to be absorbed and learnt.
Can you share a little bit about your novel with us without giving away any spoilers?
There are some twists and turns in the novel, so it is predominantly, a teen. Although I have had a 9-year-old has told me she has read the book and loved it, but I've also had many adults say that they couldn't put the novel down. So it centres around the protagonist, Olive. She's 16 years old. She's a loner. She's just been uprooted from her bustling city life to move to a country, rural sort of setting. Not happy about that. And she has a number of challenges that we find. She is dyslexic, which was really important for me to put that into the book because I am a dyslexic author, and I wanted to share and to acknowledge those people with learning challenges. There's not a lot of stories out there that have those characters in the book, so I really wanted to put that into the book. So she has a number of these challenges, and she just happens to be running past. She likes to run, and she's running past and she stumbles upon a karate dojo. She joins and she goes on this journey. But not only she goes on the journey, I wanted for anyone who's never been into a dojo before, maybe they've seen Cobra Kai and that's the extension of their knowledge, but no one, if you've never done any martial arts, that you would go on this journey of learning with Olive, and through her eyes and through her experiences, developing not only those life lessons, but also, wonderful friendships that quite often can come through hard training. You become very bonded with the people that you train with. And she discovers through all the twists and turns that the stories you tell yourself can be your most worst enemy or most empowering ally. And I think that's the fundamental message that the story, the foundation of what the story sits upon.
Can you share with us the power of meditation and how you've used this practice?
Sure. It is something that I have done over 30 years. I think for me, I use it for relaxation sometimes for healing, which is why I was meditating after my 20 fights to start that healing process. But also, it seems to quieten the mind that I get inspiration from. I quite often use it while I'm writing as well. Maybe I'm stuck on an idea. Maybe I don't know how a dialogue is going to go between two characters. I'll put my pen, paper, or my computer down, and I'll close my eyes. I'll take in deep breath in through my nose, and while I'm breathing out, I imagine the number 3 times in my head. This is a Jose Silva meditation technique that I learnt many, many years ago, and I use daily. Then I'll breathe in again through my nose. As I breathe out, I imagine the number 2 3 times in my head. I do that all the way to 1, and by the time I'm 1, I'm in such a calm and relaxed state that then I will go into a process of what I was doing the meditation for. If it's, just relaxation, I'll just be present and just be conscious of breathing in through my nose and out through my mouth and just calm. If it's for inspiration or for healing, it's similar. I really try not to force anything, not to try and get anything or an answer, or I just try and be and enjoy that process of complete stillness and relaxation and healing, and be open to whatever inspiration or information or ideas come to me. It is probably the foundation of my success. A number of times I'll say to my family, after a meditation practice, I'll say, wow, I've just come up with the craziest idea. And they go, have you been meditating again, Mum? It is really something I would recommend. I think a lot of people dabble with it and then they get frustrated because their mind wanders. Your mind is meant to wander. Any time you get angry or frustrated, you need to just let that go and say, and be kind to yourself and just say, look, that's okay. Bring your mind back into where you were, where you left off, and just continue. After 30 years, my mind at times still wanders. Sure, I'm better than I was 30 years ago because it's a muscle that you work. But if I got angry at myself or frustrated because my mind wandered, then I don't get the benefit. I have to be kind to myself and just accept sometimes my mind's going to wander, and that's okay. Just bring it back to where I last was and carry on.
Thank you so much for sharing that with us. I love how you incorporate meditation in your life and you teach other people to do the same. It's such a powerful practice. In many books, it seems that we use lots of superheroes and villains to convey a story. Can you share with us how you've taken a different approach to this?
Absolutely. I was aware. I'm a huge reader. Love reading ever since I was a child, even though I struggled at reading because of my dyslexia when I was younger. But a lot of young adult books in particular focus around young adults, teenagers, preteens being extraordinary because they have magical powers or they have supernatural powers, superhuman powers. And I just thought it would be nice for children to have and young adults to have characters in a book that was just normal people, and they were just doing extraordinary things because of knowledge that they had, not because they were born differently or they were carved with a different stone. That these characters that we have 4, I got that right. Sorry, 3 black belts. Hang on, have I got that right? I should know that, shouldn't I? 1, 2, 3, 4. Sorry, 4 black belts who are our main characters, and then the protagonist, Olive, who is the main character. She comes into the dojo. She's a white belt, and she observes these people, and she notices that they they seem to have knowledge, they seem to have abilities which she wants to possess herself. And I think she goes through this journey, especially in the beginning, thinking that there must be something special about them. They have maybe born with special abilities, or, perhaps they have supernatural powers. And then she kind of, through the twists and turns, realized that these characters, these friends that she's becoming, are just like her. They have challenges. They have, they have setbacks, and they're learning on their process as well. And she sees that despite all of that, they can do extraordinary things, that they are strong, they are resilient, and I think that's really healthy for her to see that. So I really wanted these characters to be identifiable to this generation, that they could sort of say, and they're quite different from one another. You've got, the funny larrikin, you've got the reflective character who sort of retreats and is a bit mysterious. You've got the female Inat, who I really love. She's very, very strong and feisty and fierce, but clearly she has, serious challenges in her life, in her past, that she's still dealing with. So I wanted the characters to be, for the reader to say, I can really relate to this character. This person is just like me. They're not superhuman. They're not magicians. They're just normal people who are doing extraordinary things because of the knowledge that they have, and because they're surrounding themselves with good people.
I think that is so empowering to give a story that is there's so much truth in it, that, you work hard, you can attain certain things, and being surrounded by good people will help you along your journey as well.
Yeah, absolutely.
What would you say the role of discipline has played in both your martial art practice and your writing practice?
I would say identical. Absolutely identical. I can't tell you why. I have to think about the reason, but I have always enjoyed a long-haul goal. I'm far better at long-haul goals than I am at short-term goals. I love the discipline of just chipping away at something every day and enjoying the dopamine hit. And by that I mean most people will wait to the end of the journey, the accomplishment, and then enjoy that. Go, wow, look what I've achieved. I, from a very early age, have enjoyed the daily celebration of what I've achieved. Try not to get lost on the destination, but enjoy the journey, the process, the discipline of martial arts, where you have to turn up training even when you don't want to. And writing is very much similar to that. Some days you go, you know what, I'm not feeling it, but get out my computer and just be present in that process. Might not write as much. Sometimes I can write even more. Just got to get in that first couple of sentences, and then I'm off. So discipline is an act of showing up. It's also an act of enjoying and being proud of yourself of showing up each and every time. If we only wait till the very end, when we've achieved our goal, to celebrate and to enjoy that, what a waste. What a waste of the journey. I think it's important to celebrate each and every day and feel good about each and every day you turn up, and be disciplined in that goal that you're setting out to be. So martial arts and writing are very, very similar in relation to being disciplined.
I know that you have such great purpose in writing your book. How has this book of yours become an extension to your dojo?
I feel that there's a very practical and simple way, the dojo name, Wallandilly Karate, is actually the dojo name of dojo that I own, that I run here in Wallandilly. It's nice to have that connection. The characters, of course, are all completely made up, but it did help me get into the mindset of what I teach in the dojo is what I want to teach and for a white belt. So every reader who's never ever done martial arts, to treat them as a white belt with respect and support and, you know, ultimate care as they navigate through the story, just as if they would if they were in my own dojo, to at first get them to feel safe, get them to feel that they could trust the dojo, can trust the teachers, trust the process. And I think that is what I wanted to instill into the story as well, that the reader is a white belt. And with all of the protagonists, they join together this dojo, and together they, go through the process of first being a little bit fearful of the dojo and what's all this about, and learning to trust the dojo and the teachers and the other people, knowing that they're safe, and then knowing to learn to enjoy the process of the twists and turns of learning a martial arts. So the two are very much linked together.
Would you say through your work and your book that's your mission to empower the next generation?
Absolutely. I really feel that's the reason why the voice kept pestering me to write the book. When I said yes, I had no idea what the book was going to be about. I simply just surrendered. But yeah, I felt that the mission that I have in the dojo was very clear once I surrendered, that also needs to be the mission of the book. And having a preteen, I also understand that you can't be too heavy-handed. It had to be a fiction book, and it had to be fun and gripping and engaging for me to even subtly put those life lessons through the book. Otherwise, they stick their fingers in their ears and la, 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 I'm not listening to you. So it was a compromise, but it's a lovely compromise. It was a joyous compromise. The compromise that I was totally willing to make if it meant that the reader would walk away from that experience feeling uplifted, feeling perhaps a little bit more capable, and believing that maybe that they could do extraordinary things too. That was the mission, the for-purpose mission of writing this story.
Now, earlier you mentioned a character that has dyslexia. Why was it so important to include that in the book?
I am a dyslexic author. I remember in primary school doing remedial classes. I was always at the bottom of the class. I repeated in year 3, struggled terribly with maths and English. Went into high school, got a little bit better in maths. I think the only thing that got me through English was that I enjoyed public speaking. I enjoyed getting up in front of a crowd and having that crowd to inspire them, to talk to them. I think that was the only reason I got through English, because public speaking and presentation, I'm not sure about in America, but in Australia that's part of the curriculum. So after I finished high school and I went on to university, I studied photography at the Queensland College of Art, and it was there one of the lecturers said to me, "Son, I think you are dyslexic," and went on to discover that was the case. And it was just like, I wish I had known this. Instead of, for a big portion of my schooling, thinking that there was something perhaps wrong with me, not so much in primary school, but definitely in high school, I felt that, in some areas I was very capable and thrived, but in other areas I really struggled. And I wanted to put that message that it doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter if you are dyslexic, if you do have learning challenges, it turns out okay in the end, that great things are possible for you. And I felt like in high school, because I went through schooling in the 70s, so dyslexia, people were aware of it, but there wasn't a lot of information to help. Certainly there wasn't any diagnosis. And I truly believe that it's just all brains are built differently, Marianne, and the world needs differences. If we all thought and took in information exactly the same, I don't think we would be as accomplished or have achieved as much. We need our brains to work differently. And unfortunately, sadly, I think still too, schools are taught in a particular way that benefits perhaps just one way of thinking and one way of processing. So if you aren't attuned that way, schooling can be, a challenge for you. But what I would like to say and what I wanted to say in this book is that it's okay. Outside there are lots of opportunities and that you will thrive, you can thrive, and your brain, the way you process information and the way you learn is so important for this world. And don't lose sight that just because you have that challenge, that you can still and you are capable of absolutely extraordinary things. So it was very important for me to have the protagonist with that learning challenge, because I really wanted to put that in the spotlight, because I don't think there are many neurodiverse learning challenge characters in books. I think we're starting to see more, but there certainly was nothing when I was growing up. So yeah, I'm very glad that the main character, Olive, is dyslexic.
Well, I am too. I think it shines a light on an issue that many people in later life, they find out, hey, I'm dyslexic, and they had no clue as a child. A lot of times it seems like that's not really something that is paid attention to as much as it could be.
Yeah, I agree.
Well, Sensei Sarhn, you are such an inspiration. Where can our listeners go to connect with you and learn more about your novel, Us?
I think probably the best place, Marianne, is they can find me on my website, which is sarhn.com. And Sarhn is spelled Sierra, Alpha, Romeo, Hotel, November, sarhn.com. From there, they can find my social media, different platforms. They can find me through my newsletter and sign up. But yeah, I would love for everyone to join my community and share the knowledge. And yeah, thank you so much for having me. I've really enjoyed talking with you, Marianne.
Well, Sensei Sarhn, it's been such an honor to spend this time with you and to talk about your novel, Us. Make sure to visit her website at sarhn.com.au for more information on her work and to be part of her community. Well, we're at the end of our time today. I'd like to thank everyone for tuning in. You've been listening to Moments with Marianne, where we make every moment count.
In a single moment, your life can change. Moments with Marianne is a transformative hour that covers an endless array of topics with the best of the best. Her guests are leaders in their fields, ranging from inspirational authors, top industry leaders, and business and spiritual entrepreneurs. Each guest is gifted and a true visionary, a recognized leader in her own work, and while teaching others to develop, refocus, and grow, Marianne will bring the best guest and sometimes a special surprise. Don't miss this. You never know just which moment will change your life forever. Make sure to tune in and visit momentswithmarianne.com for more information.